podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Bilbao, are you ready? Because I know we are. Let's start the show. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Interpro Show, your home for all things Irish rugby, coming to you on a massive week for the provincial game. Joining me tonight, we have one neutral observer in the returning Ben, back from helping John Kiley's Limerick get the best of Waterford from afar, granted. And we have two very nervous characters, not that the pre-show preamble would tell you that, as Adam and David are back with us is to look back, or look ahead, I should say, to an Irish-tinted EPCR finals weekend where two provinces look set to meet their maker. David, I'm going to start with yourself because usually Adam is the Jersey guy. Do you want to expose yourself to anyone who's listening?
No, don't,
What
no,
jersey is
no,
that?
This is a jersey I won a few years ago. Moving swiftly on. It's a La Rochelle jersey. I thought it'd be, I don't know. I don't know why I wore it. I just thought, fuck it, why not? They won a final more recently than us. Maybe it'd bring us a bit of luck. And I'm actually fond of this, the black and yellow. It is quite nice. So I thought the spirit of I'm trying to start out as wearing the shield of our downed adversaries and hoping it might bring us a bit of luck. We'll see how we go. Also, imagine my hat. So
Look, 2 for 1. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. It's all about fashion. The new Interpro Show fashion show is going to come later in the year, of course. Ben, you haven't been with us for a while. You've been off on your holidays, not helping John Kiley by working in a Dare Manor or something. But you essentially have no skin in this game. Munster aren't affected. You know, Limerick have a fucking easy bye. Man United are through to the Champions League. Are you just going to sit back and have a generational hate watch? I mean, supporting watch.
I will be having a generational support watch on the Friday with my beloved Ulstermen. And then on Saturday, it will just be a lot of fun. Hopefully. It's great. And it's happened a few weeks recently where I've been able to be like, I don't care. Just let the chaos happen. And Adam and David can go and be stressed. And it will all be fine. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, it promises to be a cracker. Before we move on to the Ulster game, I know for myself it's a big weekend. I'm covering my first European final on Saturday, doing a live blog. So anyone who can't see it, head over to the Irish Examiner for that one for all the
See,
updates.
Munster newspapers, Munster clicks. Give
No,
us
no,
all
no,
of
no,
them.
no, no, no. This has nothing got to do with it. I just got asked to freelance and to do a live blog. Like if I was doing it for News Talk, for example, that doesn't mean that I'm going to wear blue or something. Yes, go on, Adam.
I never knew you were a journalist. I
I was going to ask him the next question, but at this point now, I don't even want to. What a fucking. Oh, so many words. It took us 50 minutes, guys. For anyone listening at home, it took us 50 minutes to hit record. That's how much
nerves.
shit was
It's
being
the
spoken.
nerves.
So you could just imagine what this episode's going to be like. We are going to start with the opening game of the weekend, though, where Ulster and Montpellier do battle for the right to be crowned Challenge Cup winners. Adam, 14 years ago, when God and Adam Latham were only a boy, Ulster were last in a European final. It's 20 years since they've tasted silver. It'll be 20 years on Tuesday. I even went and looked it up for the sake of my research. How do you describe the nerves you must be feeling right now?
Yeah, I was at Twickenham 14 yeyears ago. It's the first time I saw Ulster lost, like lose a game. So it was like sort of one of those moments where I'm like, wow. But 14 years since the last European final, 20 years, I would have been four the last time Ulster won a final, so I was hardly aware of my surroundings. I still would say I'm hardly aware of my surroundings now, to be honest with you, but
I agree.
but it's one of those where I'm really excited for it, but it's a mixture of excitement and just internal dread. I've never seen well, of course, in like the past 14 or so years, we've been to a handful of finals where we haven't won. This one is purely driven by hope and how we play sexy rugby. However, when I see this Montpellier team, I'm like, it is a bunch of sort of, do you remember Ali Price? Do you remember Billy Vunipola? I'm not even going to talk about the other guy. But it's
Good. Good. Do you know
but
what, actually? For any Ulster fans who are heading over, even though there's plenty of Ulster fans who may have agreed with Fundapola 7 years ago, apparently he gets scared by a pride flag. So that might be a great way to put him off his game. Just throwing that out there.
yeah, yeah,
He's a
it's
real aversion to loafers as well. That's a no.
Ah, that's a
Don't
low
choose
blow.
pride
yeah,
flags to dream. He
yeah.
runs
Everyone
away.
has an issue with loafers, like
TNT
in
will give him
fairness.
man the match though. If he does
Yeah,
that, TNT
that's
will give him player the
a
match.
tough week,
It's not
Barkley. Tough
TNT.
week.
It's oh no
It
wait,
is
oh
Premier.
no,
It's Premier.
It is
it's
Premier's
Premier.
Premier's
It's
Premier's
And it's
Premier and
live on ITV4 as well.
ITV4. And also, I made the connection as well that the last time Ulster won a European Cup in 1999, it was on Channel 4 on free-to-air television on a fourth
Really?
string. Yeah, it was on Channel 4 on a fourth
I thought
string
BBC had it.
and a fourth string thing. Don't shit on my thunder. You're gonna look this up now.
I am.
Um,
I don't
but
think that's the
I just
phrase for it.
I'm don't shit on my thunder, man. It's gonna be one of those where I hope that it being on ITV4, I'm gonna have a couple of cans. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna sit in radio silence watching it, just in pure fear that anything that will happen. But it's the excitement. I know a couple of people that are over there as well, and it's about 35 degrees. It's gonna be like, some of these Ulster guys are gonna be absolutely toasted up, just purely by stepping onto that pitch because it's like 35 degrees. It's gonna be very warm. It's gonna be the same for the Leinster ones, but the Leinster ones is like midday, ours is in at the nighttime. So hopefully it's a bit
Okay.
colder. Hopefully it's a bit colder, but I just think it's just the excitement. It's the internal like excitement that I need to keep in, but it's an excitement I haven't had since I was 11 years old when I was there in 2012. It's different. The fact that I can't be there due to work is like that sad realization that I'm getting older. However, it's one of those that I'm like, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good, and everyone's gonna have the same feeling. But yeah,
Well,
I'm
as I'm
excited.
sure the two lads can tell you, being there for losses is also not very fun.
Well,
So
yeah,
there's
yeah.
that side of it as well.
I was there in 2012. I was there in 2013, for the Leinster Pro 12 final as well. The amount of hope that we had there. But
It's
yeah,
going to
we're
be
missing.
32 degrees at kickoff tomorrow evening.
Justice for Nathan
At,
Doak.
It's
at
going to be
night time.
35 degrees
At 9
midday
p.m.
tomorrow, and at 9 p.m. it's going to be 32 degrees.
Jesus Christ.
Tops. Do you know
Try
what?
try sleeping in that, lads.
That's
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
I
amazing.
know. I hope the air conditioning works in our hotel, but I think I might
Real
do.
feel of 29 at kickoff. Best
I'm
of
I'm
luck, Nathan Doe.
I'm gonna crank up the heat in my house. Just gonna crank it up a little bit and just
It's in
sit in
solidarity.
just in solidarity. Sweat for the Ulster, man. I'm gonna say it's gonna be one of those. Like I'm gonna lose a couple of kilos through stress anyway, so I might as well do it the easy sauna way. But
Sport is great for that. It has no effect on our hearts. It's absolutely fine. It's all good natural remedies. But
But
no.
yeah, if I was to talk about the teams that are playing, I look at this Ulster team and I'm very excited about it. It's the strongest team that we can have, considering that McCluskey's out, Stockdale's out, Henderson's out, and Rob Herring's out, which sort of
Anyone
weakens.
else?
I think Sparky might as well be out as well because I'd say
That's not I was trying to lead you down a different path. Thank you for not taking it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm joking. But it's one of those where I look at that team and that forward pack is pretty cool. And also as well, the last time you won a trophy, we had an Australian, and we haven't had an Australian play in a final for a while. So all these things are coming into my head, and I'm like, this makes sense. This is how I'm working this week. But um. But the thing is, that forward pack is really exciting. Angus Bell, Stuart O'Toole, Sheridan Izuchuku, McCann, Timoney, and Augustus. That is a mobile, quick, and powerful pack. Like I'm just very excited to see this team in general. That back line is very exciting. Lots of speed. James Hume back. It's going to be the biggest contribution for Hume, I hope, since the peace process. I think it's one of those where I think that this team can do some damage. The replacements as well. That's the only thing that I'm slightly worried about.
I was going to do team sheets later on, you know. You didn't have to do the
But
whole thing.
I'm nervous, okay? I'm nervous.
All right,
Does
John
anyone
Hume,
ask
I
me?
can tell.
Does anybody who ask want to ask me any other questions?
You got
I
to
feel
bring
like
up David Trimble in a few minutes, like, honestly.
he was next on my list, but I feel like I can throw up in a bin. Let's-
I'm going to move on. I'm going to give you a chance to calm down because I do agree with a lot of what you said about the nerves and the kind of the sense of this could be it for Ulster. And like, I wrote a piece on it today for Substack. Like, it does feel like Glory's last shot. For those who don't know, Glory's last shot used to be the kind of like a team of us or things like that. It used to be the marketing phrase for the PGA Championship back when it was the fourth major of the year because it was seen as this is your last chance to win a major for this year. And I do get that vibe off Ulster where I'm like, if they're in the Challenge Cup next year because they lose, I don't think they'll go as gung ho for it. I don't think you can. I think you have to go URC, get back into the Champions Cup. So it does kind of feel like their last chance for a trophy for a while. And like it's easy to remember, it's easy to forget. It's not that long ago that we were tipping Ulster to win, maybe win a URC semi-final, maybe get to a URC final. Do you know what I mean? It's first, second season. So it feels like a huge defining moment. But at the same time, if you had told me at the start of the season, Ulster get a Challenge Cup final, let's say, right, let's hope that's not their last shot at Champions Cup, first of all. And I stand by that. And I'd have probably said, make sure they have Henderson and McCluskey. The fact that they're not there is going to be massive. Werner Koch is out as well. So like there's a couple of lads that they need that aren't involved. And it is a big one. And Ben, I might just bring you in here because I know Adam, we will come back to you. Don't worry, we will come back to you. There is a horrible sense for Ulster if they let it soak in that there is financial incentives. There's a burden of things that mean more than just a trophy here. Yes, it'll be their first trophy in 20 years, but it'll be Champions Cup. It'll be additional revenue. It's a lot to shoulder heading into your first, for a lot of this team, half of this team, their first final.
Yeah, and like to bring Munster for a second because I feel I have to. We saw Munster players talk about it. We saw similar vibes down here. The importance of actually getting into the Champions Cup is with the scenario that Irish rugby isn't exactly in the greatest place financially right now. Let's be honest about it. Munster have their troubles. Ulster have troubles. Leinster, we've seen stuff about contracting from there as well. If they fail to get over the line on Friday, Friday night is Friday night. It's
Yep.
yeah, fine. It's no trophy. It's another blown opportunity at one. But in terms of what it can mean for the club and for next season in general, it's huge. Like you'd feel for some of those younger lads. There's huge, huge pressure on that team. Werner Koch not getting a chance to, carry him over lines he's done so many times this season as well is going to hurt. But I know we'll get to predictions at the end, but you'd have to kind of back Ulster to do it at this point. I mean, this team's
Yeah.
done well under pressure when they've had to go and have a go at it.
Yeah, I suppose the one thing is 1 to 23, and it has been
Yeah,
said before whether how many players Ulster are off in terms of competing. And I know, like Ulster, look, my cynical hat will tell me that half the reason Ulster are getting hype is because their coach is from Dublin. And that is the most cynical viewpoint I have. I think Ulster play lovely rugby. I think
that's
Ulster
a
play
very
very
me
well.
viewpoint.
It is, but look, at the end of the day, Ulster have had maybe one or two good performances since January. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think anyone else would get away with that. Like they were brilliant against Exeter. Don't get me wrong. They were brilliant against Exeter. But since January, how well have they played? Do you know, like even against Glasgow, they didn't do enough to win that game. I felt watching it live. I thought they were good, but like they did have a pretty, telegraphed intercept, for example. Against the Stormers, they did enough to win it, but obviously I've said it a few times on here, I'm not as high in the Stormers as other people. But and we will do team sheets, and I'll bring in Mr. David Cordial to get us going at this. David, the return of the cat, Robert Balakoon is back, and I know someone like Werner Koch can be an emotional leader for Ulster, naturally because of how he plays. But Balakoon back does feel like just that little spark, that little 1% that can swing finals one way or the other.
Yeah, no, like he's a proper weapon. He is a spark player as much as Cock is. I think Werner brings a lot of just manic aggression and energy as much as anything else. Like he's fast and he's strong, but his USP is his energy. Balogun's USP is he's just really quick. And for a while he kind of struggled because that's all he had, and he was a little bit brittle. But he's, aside from the fact that he has just come back from an injury layoff, he's added other stuff to his game now as well. His defensive energy is strong. He's good at the air, which he should be because he's a tall player. And yeah, he just brings that. He's the kind of guy, if you can get him a little bit of space, he can do damage to the other side. In a final, that could be the tipping of it. So as much as I would have loved to see Werner Cox start this, and I kind of feel like he deserves to. It would have been his last game for Ulster, and for someone who I think has given a lot to that team, having come really out of nowhere. It was an odd transfer at the time, but it proved really fruitful for them. Um, and to finish without you know being in that team sheet is tough. But you look at the team and go, well, are you dropping Zach Ward or are you dropping Rob Balakoon? And there you kind of see, oh, Ulster just kind of have an embarrassment of riches in that back three. So, um, no, I think it's a huge injection. You would hope, he's obviously just back, so it'll be an 80-minute game. It'll be tough. Montpellier they're a good team for digging in. Like they're an abrasive side, so it's going to take more than just speed to beat them. But you do think that if Ulster need a bit of a spark at some point in that game, if they get a hair's breadth of a chance, he is the right player to cut it open. And if you can pair him and Zach Ward and the kind of pace that those two can bring to each other, then you have to think that could be the perfect weapon to try and cut a hole through Montpellier or light it up along the wings. So yeah, it's rough not having Werner Cock in there because of what he brings, but Bob Balakoon is the reason, and I don't think anyone can judge Richie Murphy too harshly for making that choice.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I'm actually, before I bring in Adam to discuss these teams, I'm going to give everyone the match day 23 in case they haven't seen them. So Ulster with Mike Lowry at fullback, of course, Robert Balakoon on the right wing, Zach Ward on the left. Not John Hume, James Hume at centre alongside Jude Bossetway, Jack Murphy and Nathan Doak at the halfbacks, Angus Bell, Tom Stewart, Tom O'Toole at the front row, Harry Sheridan and Cormac Izuchukwu, the pride of Offaly in the second row, Dave McCann, Nick Timoney captains the side from 7 and Joanne Augustus at 8, James McCormick, Eric O'Sullivan, Scott Wilson, Charlie Irvine, Bryn Ward, Conor McKee, Jake Flannery and Ethan McElroy are on the bench. For Montpellier, Tom Banks is at fullback. Gabriel Nkandebe is on the right wing with Jonathan Toife-Fanua on the left. Arthur Vanson and August Cadeau are in the centre. Domingo Miotti and Ali Price are at halfback. Forgot Ali Price was at Montpellier, to be honest. Enzo Ferletta, Jordan Uleze and Mohamed Hawass. Yep, Mohamed Hawass is still playing. He's a tight end prop. Florian Ferragay and Tyler Dugid. I stumbled on that one. I won't lie. Lenny Nuki, Alex Bicogni, and the former Saracens number 8 complete the side. He captains the team. Liam Akrab, Baptiste fuck that. I don't know half of these. I haven't read over this. This is the first time I'm reading it. Adam Beard is on the bench, as is John Etchegaray from Montpellier. Adam, please, for the love of God, don't pick one of the names that I butchered anyways. Your thoughts on the two matchday 23s?
Adam Beard's on the bench. Sorry,
There are people who tell you that Adam Beard is one of the great second rows to ever live, and those people would be wrong.
No,
I
they
I was
think-
also
do
going to
Welsh.
say Izuchukwu's from Offaly. What?
Yeah, he is. You don't know that. He's from
Yeah.
Tullamore.
Yeah.
No, I assumed he was Northern.
No,
Sorry,
he's-
Izuchukwu.
Tullamore, man.
He went to Ross Gray. He played centre for Ross Gray.
Unreal.
Imagine trying to tackle him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jesus Christ.
Because he played for Hinch, didn't he? So I assumed he just was Northern.
Yeah, but that was
general.
after he went to London first and then went to Ulster.
Every day is a school day. Good to know.
There you go.
It is. It really is. Adam
Speaking
Latham, your
of-
thoughts?
Anyway, I think
Did you
looking
learn
at
anything
this-
today at school today? I don't know.
I did, yes. I'll, I did. Anyway, I was doing a lesson on Spanish.
Moving
and
swiftly along.
I
Swiftly
learned,
along, please.
I learned how to say jeans and shoes. El Zapados is shoes, jeans. Off the top
Rugby,
of my head, I can't
Adam.
forget. Anyway,
Rugby, please.
Where were you
David,
last week when I
go.
needed all this?
Shout out to the Lanzarote guy that spotted Ben in Lanzarote, by the way.
Yes.
Shout out. Yeah, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the Montpellier team, and I was trying to make I was trying to look into the players, and Ali Price we know URC, Vinopola we know from Saracens.
From being
Um,
a
Well, yeah, well, that as well. I also would look at Domingo Moretti, who played for Glasgow at some point.
Did
Played for Glasgow and also played for Oina. It's and the Western Force for 2 games as well. That's like such a road less traveled. The Jaguars, Western Force, Oina, Glasgow Warriors, and Tumenkin lawn tennis. There you go. So I'm just on his Wikipedia. But it's one of
oh,
those.
we'd never have guessed. We'd never have guessed.
But it's one of those teams that I look at it and I go, yeah, I can see why they're I can almost not see why they're second in the top 14. I feel like the top 14 is like really well stacked in terms of you've got your Bordeaux who are sixth. It's such a weird table when I look at it as an outsider looking in, and as somebody that doesn't really look at top 14 as much. We've got a top 14 show on this channel as well. I'm sure they'll be chatting about the two finals from that standpoint. But I feel like it's a very interesting team. I feel like it's a very powerful team as well. As David said, they're a team that likes to dig in, and not really go backwards. So I think for Ulster's sake, we need to like target them in their sort of areas where we can, like as I said, we're a very mobile pack. I think our back row is like you've got Augustus versus Vunipola, and in that battle right now, I would back Augustus to be more agile, more physical, and more fit to get over him.
Yeah.
You've got the likes of Cormac Kazuchuka who can go down that line as well, down that 10 channel. We've got the players to dismantle this team. It's just how we're going to dismantle it. And also as well, it's going to be a nice dry pitch, a nice dry ball, and we've been playing some pretty sexy rugby with Mark Sexton in us as well. That eye roll that you do know, that stupid sexy Ulster. But it's one of those where
All right, Flanders.
yeah, but it's one of those where I think Ulster do have the tools to unlock this team. My worry comes from, as we say as well, it's the scrum. It's the scrum, and also it's the players coming off for the scrum. I'm hopeful in the fact that Eric O'Sullivan is agile and also he's very good in the loose. The same for James McCormick. But we haven't used them as much as we did in previous seasons, and the same for Scotty Wilson. It's the scrum. It's the scrum, and it's the sort of lack of power bar the likes of you've got Irvine and uh Bryn Ward coming off the bench. That is our power. Charlie Irvine and Bryn Ward coming off that bench. Bryn Ward is an X factor player that we need on our bench. And as we sort of mentioned before, not having Cock there, he's another X Factor player, another live wire that we can have off the bench. But I feel like Ethan McElroy would be there as well because he's sort of that player that can cover all of a sudden now he can cover full back, wing, and center. And he can do it quite well as well. I think that his center presence is quite good. Um, Having James Hume back with Postlethwaite is huge. I know that we've lost Stuart McCluskey, and that's a big name to lose. But I feel like a couple of years ago, I would be more worried about that. But Jude Postlewaite this season, he's been phenomenal. He's been playing the rugby that we all knew that he can, and the likes of James Hume as well, who's also he's pretty good in attack and defense. So I think it's a very exciting Ulster team. I think it's a very conservative Montpellier team, but Montpellier have some history in this tournament. They've won it twice. We've never won it. We'd only be the second Irish team to win it, if I'm correct. After the heroics of the Amlin 2013 Challenge Cup with Isa Nuthela and Jonathan Sexton going off and never coming back to Leinster. But it's one of those that I think that I am really happy with the team. It could be better. We could have Henderson. We could have Herring on the bench. We could have Stuart McCluskey and we could have Jacob Stockdale. However, with that back three is rapid. It's the sort of, as David said, we've got a riches in our back three. It's where you can fit the likes of, would Zach Ward be 23 if Stockdale was there? Would Mike Laurie drop down to 22 if Stockdale was there? It's really interesting. So I think that I'm quite happy with this team, but I'm also like peeking one eye across to Montpellier and going, it is going to be a tough game.
Yeah, no, it is. It's going to be very, very difficult. And we'll get your prediction at the very end. We get your prediction for both games. Everyone's for at the end. But before we move on to the big one on Saturday afternoon. Just a reminder, you can to make sure to subscribe to get all your latest content here on the Global Game Night channel. If you share the show with a friend, leave a comment, it makes a huge difference. And as I said before, we're on the lookout for Connacht podcast presenters for our breakaway shows next season. The Munster one is almost set in stone. The Munster one is set in stone. The Leinster one almost. The Ulster one pretty much there. So Connacht is the one that we're a little bit slower on, but please do get in touch on that front. But to the big one, Leinster against Union Bordeaux-Bègles, not Bordeaux, Union Bordeaux-Bègles. Four-time winners versus the defending champions, the team who couldn't get over the line versus the team who managed to do it last year. Ben has nailed his colours to the mast quite literally here on video. David, gotta come to you first. You have not seen Leinster win a European Cup in your time supporting the province on a regular basis. So where are the nerves approximately whatever amount of hours before kickoff?
It's not too bad. Technically, one of the first matches I saw watched Leinster play was the last one in Bilbao. I remember I was standing in the Sands Hotel, not fully understanding what was going on. I think at the end of it, I said, "So, did we go to the final after this?" For my friend to go, "No, that was the final." I was like, "Oh, great, good stuff." We've come
Usually,
a lot.
historically, finals are usually worse than
Yeah,
than
I
semi-finals. So
didn't
that's
appreciate
usually a
that at
good
the
rule of thumb.
time. Semis are much more interesting in games, but yeah, no, it's been. If anything, I should stop supporting this team because I'm so clearly our bad luck charm.
I
But
know.
I don't know. It's a weird one now because this is probably the first game, maybe the Toulouse game, where we go in as genuine underdogs. And I don't think it's like that's not even. I don't think it's trite to say that. Leinster are still very much a strong team. This is a very strong Leinster side that's been put out. We're not anywhere close to as hamstrung by injury and suspension as Ulster are. But there's really maybe one player who's missing from that Leinster side in an ideal scenario, maybe one or two off the bench. But other than that, it's as strong as we can go. But Bordeaux are very good, and they are the champions. And this is a game where it'll be a test to see if we can match our defense against their stunning attack, really. So I think I've kind of been going through this week largely in a state of denial. I am at peace with the fact that for 80 minutes on Saturday, I am going to be a nervous wreck, and there's no real way around that. I will not know peace until the final whistle. If I have one thing in my
Even then,
corner, it's that I've gotten really used to seeing us lose finals. So there's no fear. There's just there's anxiety, but there's not fear. I think it'll be really
can I ask you a question on that, David? Because
yeah.
I was writing about this today, and I it came up about someone. I think we said it about Scotland. I think, but I wrote about it earlier, and I said, um, in some ways, the worst defeats have already happened for Leinster. Nothing will ever compare to the heartache of the last four seasons. So what are they waiting for? Is there something in that, the fact that like they've lost an extra time, they've lost at home, that was a big lead. They lost a semi-final they shouldn't have lost. They lost the last play of the game. Like there's nothing to fear but fear itself, it feels like.
There's definitely an element of that. I think there is an element of that, but as well as that, like on top of that, I think you could also say there's churn as well. Like the squad doesn't completely rotate, but things do change. Like say from that team that lost in 2019, there's been a reasonable amount of turnover since then. Um, even positional turnover, people come to the fore, people fading into the back. So it's not even like it's the exact same team that's been doing it the whole time. So there is an element of this is their day. There's going to be a couple of lads playing in this squad who've not played necessarily at this level before, and we'll be like, well, this is our final. Like somebody else lost four finals before this. I don't want to lose this one. Um, and yeah, but I think there's an element of yeah, you should like there shouldn't be fear because we've been there and done that in terms of losing before. I guess the concern would be that because that's happened before, it becomes a habit. Winning becomes a habit as much as losing becomes a habit, and it's a habit you kind of feel like you have to kick at some point. The unfortunate thing with finals is that it is 80 minutes rugby, and anything can happen. And it's unfortunate that there's no response. It's always been my biggest frustration with it's the nature of finals. Like this is the nature of finals in any sport, even like Olympic sports where you come down to the end and it has to be something. It's that there is no right of reply. It's done. If you lose, it's done. It is 12 months before you get to say anything again. Pool and Leinster are in the completely unenviable position where pool stages don't matter at all. Round of 16 doesn't matter. Quarterfinals doesn't matter. Semi-finals barely matter. There is one game every season they have to win, and it is the one game that they've been conspiring to lose for 4 of the last 6 years. So it's unfortunate. It has become quite a large monkey to shift, which is mad for a team that won 4 times before that. But as Ben said, and I know he was being a little bit tongue in cheek, but he wasn't wrong. There is going to be a drive for five this weekend, and it's up to these 23 players to decide: is it going to be 5 wins or is it going to be 5 losses? And that's in and of itself, that is a big enough thing to carry on your shoulders.
It's crazy. It's amazing. And like to be fair, you've nailed it there. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous myself, and I no skin in this game. Do you know, I want Irish rugby to do well. Winning a European Cup does not necessarily mean Irish rugby is doing well. If we're being entirely honest, like it doesn't. Not if we're going to have, guaranteed one club in Challenge Cup next year when it should really have been none. But it's a weird one. And Ben, I might come to you because in some ways, free shot for Leinster, worse has already happened. In others, if they lose, and it's a very real possibility, they are underdogs in the bookies. We might be looking at this era as being the era that Leinster couldn't, like the little club who couldn't. And at that, as much as we can talk ourselves into, oh, the worst has already happened. Geez, there's a downside. Like the cliff edge is very steep if you want it to be.
Yeah, and like fair play to David. It's actually got me nervous for Leinster there as well. That was excellent. Some way to get if you're not excited for the game before that, you will be now. Um, I said last year felt like and now or never for Leinster. I thought that was when they had to do it, and I thought losing Northampton meant they battled it and it was gone. I've kind of come the other way around now. Um, I spoilers, I think they will do it Saturday. I think they're good enough to get past what is an excellent Bordeaux team. Um, if they don't do it, yeah, there'll be reflections and there'll be weeks of autopsies and postmortems about why this didn't happen. And Nienaber, I'm going to get his name right for the first time all season. It's Nienaber.
No,
And
it's
not
not.
call him Nusafora. I didn't call him Nusafora. It's fine.
That's
It's
true.
better.
That's
I'm
true.
getting there. He will no doubt be blamed. But yeah, look, Leinster will probably do it. I'm not at the final, which means Leinster will probably do it. I don't go to the ones they win. I go to the ones they lose. David, you can thank me on Saturday. Um, it's I don't know, is it a missed opportunity for Irish rugby? We could also have all four teams in Champions Cup, even if Ulster win and Connacht do the impossible. We could
That's
get all
true.
four teams in the Champions Cup. It's not an now or never. They don't want to be the first team to lose 5 European Cup finals when they're going for 5. And that
No,
is the
that's true.
caveat that's there on their back right now.
Especially when they had lost no finals as of the
Yeah.
start of May 2019.
Ah,
Had they
That's a part
won?
of it.
They'd won 4 on the bounce, had they?
They'd
yeah,
won
yeah,
four
Um,
on the
they
bounce,
lost
yeah.
before.
wow.
And obviously, yeah, they lost semi-finals, they lost whatever, obviously famously 06, 17, 2010, they'd lost semi-finals, but 2015 to Toulon as well.
Like
But yeah, it's mad. What?
to say, David,
Sorry, go on, man.
no, to say to you very briefly, as because someone else experienced losing finals and losing semi-finals. Finals worse, I guess, due to the lack of reply.
Way
Because, like,
worse.
admittedly, in Munster POV, I've had so many semis in recent years, but I always feel like you've got to a final, you've done well, you're one of the best two teams in Europe.
Mm.
Whereas you lose at Final Four and you're like, we're not
But
even
there's
there.
there's a cut-off. There
There's
is a
There is a
cut-off
cutoff.
because
yeah.
Munster, to a certain degree, you can say Munster made three semi-finals in a row from 17 to 19. You could say they were top four side, but they never really deserved to be a top two team in Europe in that spell. Maybe 2018 because that Racing team were gettable. Leinster have been a top two side in Europe every year, pretty much since 2021.
It
You could
feels
even
like
include 2020. They were probably a top two side and happened to get Saracens.
But
yeah.
2020 is
You
a thing in all of itself. We can kind of
It
Yeah,
park
feel
that's
that
true.
as what it
yeah.
was.
It does feel like it's a weird thing where like it feels like an underperformance not to reach the final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Which to be fair, right?
rough.
If we were speaking French and wearing berets, which I know Ben does from time to time, we Toulouse probably say the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like that's just the level you have to hold yourself to. Like, and I know it's boring, but
Unfortunately,
you
Toulouse
know,
have won more finals. Like
yeah,
they don't,
Toulouse have lost two finals in their history. One was because Clement Pochno didn't trust the bounce of rugby ball, and the other one was one of the great European teams in that Munster team that went 2 from 3. Do you know? So like that's and like even that Wasps team was one of the great teams, and they still needed a bounce of the ball to beat them. So like it
And
just
like it's
shows.
hard to look at that Leinster team and be like, they are not, certainly on paper,
Yeah.
one of the greatest European teams of all
Yeah.
time.
But they have to
It's
win it.
just get that fifth monkey on the back to shut up guys like me every year saying they're not going to
But
get the
but
fifth
that's the thing.
star.
They have to win it. You cannot be a great team without a title.
yeah, it's
That's the
true.
thing.
And
Do you
also
know?
like the worst, like, and I look, I'm gonna caveat this a lot, but to say the worst has already happened, the worst hasn't already happened. The worst is that, and this will take some doing, but it can happen. This can always happen. Empires rise and empires fall, and there will come a day. It might not last that long. It might only be a season. It might be two. There will come a day when there's just a not the Leinster side just isn't that good. It might be because the lads don't come well through the pipeline. It might be because the coaching goes to pot. It might just be because there's a trend that we don't catch up with fast enough. But there will come a time when Leinster are not where they are now. If you look at GA, like no one thought, I don't think we all didn't think it was going to happen to the Dubs. They won the Leinster final so often. The players said they didn't know how many Leinster final medals they had,
Up
and then
Westmeath.
suddenly it goes away. Suddenly Westmeath last year, loud, like it just it ends. It always ends. At some point, it will, and the dip might not last that long. But when it comes, if it comes without them having won a final, having been to as many as they have, that's the worst. Because as bad as it is to get to finals and not win them, the worst would be to be 2 or 3 years down the line, struggling to get past, say, quarterfinals and go, there was a day when we were 80 minutes away from medals and we didn't take advantage of it. And now we would only dream of being back in that position again. So you have to
Again, yeah,
gather rosebuds while you may, make hay while
Rory's
it's
last
there.
shot.
You
Because like
have to, you have to
there's
do
another
it.
podcast that has said, it's up to Leinster to lose the right way, and that annoyed me as an Irish rugby fan today. And it
But
wasn't an
I
Irish
I
podcast, I'm
get
not
it.
going to name, but I do, but I'm
I
like,
do get it. No, you
you've
can say
got
it. It
there,
was on the Irish
win
Independent. A
it.
lot of people would have listened to it. I do get it though, because Leinster arguably have just been gallant losers. But have they died on their sword in a final?
To
Have
lose, they
they?
did. The
Did
Spurs
they?
final, they did everything. Now,
Well, I
a
suppose they went to
couple
the
of
corner continuously. I'll give them that. That's probably the one. But then again, you go to the corner continuously. You only score 6 points in the 80 minutes or 9 points. So eventually you're kind of have to go like, well, some of it is on you. Like this is why the whole like, and I know Galway man makes Mayo connection joke. I am open to that. Some of it is me taking the piss. But that's where the Mayo thing comes in, where it's like there's a difference in some of these losses. And that's the thing. And I think there is a way that Leinster can lose this and we have more respect for them. It's not Northampton. I think another Northampton, if they switch off like they did against Northampton last year, they lose by 20 points. Like 100%. This Bordeaux team is lethal. They have got quality from 1 to 23. Some of their injured players. Deportaire probably doesn't play. Joey Carberry probably doesn't play. Do you know what I mean? Arthur Retier may not make the 23, and he's broken Leinster hearts on 2 occasions. Do you know what I mean? In back-to-back finals or back-to-back-to-back finals. He
is it
played in all three.
Pershaw or Poirot starting tight head, have they said?
They don't know yet. Loose edge, I mean.
Luke said, my apologies.
It'll
Yes.
be Big Ben or Sadie at tight head prop. Which even then, Paddy McCarthy could be rushed back for Leinster to be going up against Carlo Sadie or Big Ben Tamifuna. Big decision to be made there. I don't know if I agree with it, but on that, and I do want to get Adam's take on this as well, because I know he's probably taking a deep breath and calm down and won't be making jokes that I say with my tongue in cheek. Adam, Park Jalibert, Park BLBRE, 32 tries in 29 games this year. Park James Lowe, Park whoever it might be, Rico Ioane. Jason Statham versus Gibson Park, also known as Maxime Luku against Gibson Park. That could, finals are won by big players. That could be the one that wins this.
Yeah, it could be, and I feel like as well that when you look at Jason Statham's performance in The Beekeeper. Anyway, sorry, I thought we were talking about a film there. Anyway, no, I think I think Gibson Park has that monopoly. I think he's hit a fine form recently as well. It's got to a point where just like after the Six Nations and in that sort of in between time where Leinster were getting really, really good form, that Gibson Park was the reason for that. So if Gibson Park hits his stride on that Saturday in Bilbao, he can actually transform that Leinster team. And I feel like that there's a lot of 10 chat, but the 10 chat has to be parked at the fact that it doesn't matter who's at 10. As long as Gibson Park is there, he can lift that back line up. Leinster playing off nine is their key to their attack, whilst Bordeaux have more of a 9-10 with Jalibert as well. They've got that 9-10 combo where they can play off either one. Granted, you can play off the tens that Leinster do have, but I just feel like there's part of me that thinks that Gibson Park connection is so much more vital and so much more useful and so much more clinical that Leinster can use that and also hone a lot of attacks. And even in defense, Gibson Park is a vital part of that last man, last ditch attempt tackle as well when you have some of the tens in Leinster that necessarily don't tackle. I'm not naming it. I'm not naming any. Not naming anyone. Not naming anyone.
Jeez, be
But
nice. Jack Murphy's trying to win you a European Cup.
he can tackle. But yeah, it's one of those where I think that like a perfect Leinster team, and I will say this because I saw a comment. This could be the Frawley redemption arc. This could be the final where we see a Gibson Park Kieran Frawley 9-10 combo, and we could see a redemption arc, and it would be utterly ridiculous but great at the same time that if he has a redemption arc here, you know, making a drop goal, for example, if he makes a drop goal here, if he wins Leinster that title, him going to Connacht is even more frightening than it's looking at the
It,
minute.
it would be
It,
slightly funny though, in
It,
its
it would
own
be
little way.
is it poetic fallacy? Like it's one of those where it's one of those where it's in Bilbao. Last time they won a European Cup, it was in Bilbao. Kieran Frawley is also a player that is fighting tooth and nail to get anywhere in Leinster history where he deserves to be in Leinster history in some parts. Like he had the drop goal against South Africa. That's Irish
That's not for
history.
Leinster. That's not for
No,
Leinster though.
no, not for
That that's a
Leinster, but like,
that's a summer tour. Like, look,
but
I celebrated that moment, but that's a
yeah.
summer tour game. Do
But
you know?
I almost feel like he deserves a swan song and he deserves a big statue outside of Leinster if he does it because I
What a
feel like
swan
he's
song we're talking about giving him though, like
But
achieving.
yeah yeah
Adam,
but
Adam,
it could happen.
I just want to say, right, and I'm not saying that Kieran Frawley hasn't been a good player for Leinster. He has. You're asking to build a statue based on a hypothetical where the player comes off the bench and wins them the final. We could go
Well,
back a number of
see,
layers. There's 46 players got to take to the pitch. Do
well
you know
that's
what I
the
mean?
thing. But if I go back to the last time they won a European Cup, Isa Nuthema was vital and he was only one player. He was only one
That's
player,
true. So was
and
Teddy Thomas
who
because he ran into touch.
He was
well
an
yeah,
Arsenal
Possibly,
and
striker, right?
also
possibly the stupidest moment since Clement Pochino in 2004.
and and who's the ginger Isa Nuthema? Kieran Frawley.
Like, I made this joke a couple of weeks back, I think off record, but what I really want is that Byrne Christmas dinner where Harry Byrne wins it, sits down with the medal, and Ross sitting across from him like, I had four goes at that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Oh
you
no.
just like the Byrne brothers. Um,
but
I do. I want them both in Ireland, but just imagine it.
David, can I get a quick closing word before we get into this? Because as much as we talk about Leinster, and I know the one thing that gets said about Leinster a lot is that they're kind of, I know you didn't really like it, they're a bit blasé. They're the Man City, they're the whoever else, they're the dominant force. You mentioned it yourself, the Dublin footballers. You're not looking to be entertained, you're not looking for personality, you're just looking for them to win. But if Leinster do win, what do you think it would mean for the province?
It would mean everything. Like this has been it, and like explicitly and implicitly in team sheets, in the way they've talked, the management has talked to the media, and the way the players have talked to the media, candidly and uh, in implied language. It has been abundantly clear when they were winning every single when they were winning the Pro 14 week in, week out, when they were losing the URC week in, week out, it was still Europe. It was always Europe. They were willing to underperform in regular seasons of the URC. They were willing to underperform in knockout rugby in the URC if it meant a shot at Europe. It has become a dangerous obsession, and it will be the achievement of achievements for every single one of them. I think I don't remember who said it, but like talking about like Josh van der Flier having won World Player of the Year in 2022, having won a bunch of Pro 14s, he would trade all of those medals for one European medal. And whether or not that's right, whether or not that's um worthy. You could argue the top 14 is this tougher league. You could argue the URC is becoming a much more competitive league, but Europe is just what these guys were raised on. They were raised on watching a very young Johnny Sexton, on watching Brian O'Driscoll, on watching Leo Cullen win this trophy. That's what they're here for. And whether it's whether it's healthy, whether it's how they should be motivating themselves, it is how they start every year. It is how they want to finish every year. If they can win this, um, we've got a home run and knockouts in the URC. I think it's a coin flip whether or not they even bother showing up if they win this, because this is it for Leinster.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the duality of finals. But gentlemen, we're going to get predictions out of you. Predictions are final. This is what's going to be going on the sheet for the week where David has I'm not going to say insurmountable lead, but he's up by no, he's only up by 2 points. Not insurmountable on me, insurmountable on the rest of them though.
Double or nothing. Oh, there's so
Dub
many weeks left. No.
no, we've got so much rugby left. Oh my God.
This
I love
podcast
this.
is never gonna have a break.
Nah, it's grand for you guys. You can dip out. I'm the fucking presenter. So, you know what I mean? Unless David wants to step in to present some random ass summer shows, but I'm sure he'll find something better to be doing, to be quite honest. I wouldn't blame him.
Random ass summer shows. That could be the name of the podcast.
Honestly, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in reverse order. I'm gonna give the person who's in the final
Interpro
last.
random ass IRA.
We
Right.
need James Hume back. Sorry.
David, I'm gonna start with you for your prediction for Ulster against Montpellier.
I think Ulster. I think Ulster won it. I was looking at those team sheets, and it might depend on how long they can keep that starting team on the pitch for. But I think if they
Mhm.
can keep them on for most of that 80 minutes, then I think Ulster have it.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is Montpellier are the type of team that I wouldn't be too certain you can keep your best players on the pitch.
That's also true.
Ben, your prediction for that Challenge Cup final on Premier Sports and ITV4 tomorrow night.
Ulster. I think their starting 15 is enough to get them over the line.
Okay, interesting. I'm just gonna hold my hand up. I tip Montpellier, so I'm gonna stick with that.
Boo!
What?
Boo!
Just give an opinion. If a white man can't give an opinion on a
Tough
podcast,
Tom.
who can?
No, no. He's when Dave was CEO on us. No.
Listen here now, Kate. Give me your prediction.
Yeah, you could probably tell, but it would mean absolutely everything. Ulster.
Okay, fair. Ben, I'll start with you. Union, Bordeaux, Begla, or the team that you usually don't like that much, or Leinster.
It's head versus heart. It genuinely is. Um, I think I want the points more, so I'm gonna go head. I'm gonna say Leinster.
Okay. Adam, you've got Dublin blood in you. You may be just
Yeah.
alcohol in your blood by the time kickoff comes.
I'm not even know there's going to be a rugby game existing on Saturday. Anyway, I'm gonna say, gonna back, as I said, there's Dublin blood in me. There's also English, but I don't support England in any sense. In the rugby, possibly the cricket, but it's just full of Irish people anyway in the cricket. Anyway, sorry. I'm gonna say Leinster. I'm gonna say Leinster to win it. I think that Leinster have been chasing this fifth star, and I feel like it's gonna be some type of fairy tale endings, like poetic fallacy, as I said before. I just can't not see Leinster do it, and they're doing it against one of the very best teams out there, and the defending champions. So, do it the hard way.
Yeah. Okay. David, to be fair, I shouldn't even ask. You given such a good answer before this on the ups and downs. do you think Leinster are going to stitch that 5th star into the jersey on Saturday?
Yeah. I think we will. I think we'll manage. Just
See,
about.
this is where it gets tricky for me, right? My head says Leinster. But if I get these right and David gets them wrong, we're tied heading into the URC and Nations Championship. So I'm going to go with Bordeaux.
It's a fair choice.
And it's basically based on, actually, Ben, turn off your background and you'll be able to get that there in a second. It's basically based on that. I do think Leinster might do this. And to be fair, I wasn't confident in Wembley. I wasn't confident in 23. Not Wembley, Spurs. I wasn't confident in 23. I'm more confident now, even though I really like Bordeaux. Ben with
I
the
was, I
we are
was so
Pepe.
I was so confident in every other final.
Yeah,
thought-
it's a Dublin thing.
And I just
Joking,
didn't.
I'm
I just
joking.
didn't learn. I just didn't learn.
I would like to ask Ben a question before we go, and Ben might know what question is coming up here. Uh,
Go on.
Ben, when you're watching this final, will you be drinking out of a Bordeaux plastic cup by any chance?
Yes. Akira might also
Mm.
drink out of your one. We'll see.
Yeah, I fucking wonder why. You fucking pricks. I famously stole a bunch of Bordeaux plastic glasses, and none of them came back with me after we were in France.
Kaelan tried to get
last
rid
year.
of people's jobs. He stole so many glasses in Bordeaux.
Yeah, to be fair, I stole a lot from La Rochelle as well. My mother isn't happy. There's like 4 in the press. But gentlemen, thank you very much. So basically for all those at home, if we have an Irish winner, we will try and record this weekend.
On a Sunday morning as well, which
I
is
never said morning time. I
I thought it
just
was
said
said
maybe.
okay,
Listen,
okay.
I'm
I thought
trying to
it
be nice here. Now, to be fair, if Ulster win, Adam may not be seen for 3 to 4 business weeks.
no,
That's the only concern.
That's
I
why we
might
need to record Sunday morning. It's a proof of life podcast.
Actually, can Adam do a podcast from a pub?
Oh,
Adam's
imagine.
gonna do an Alex Good. He's gonna be wandering around in a full
Yeah,
Ulster
just in
kit
the
3
same
days after
in
the
the same.
final.
That's a Wednesday for Adam. Let's
Yeah.
not mix it up.
I'm
Like,
wearing an Ulster kit in my class tomorrow. I'm just gonna be like, well, you know.
look at these for legs. No,
Kapow.
I will end
That's-
it on one particular bombshell though. Adam
Oh, you can't
lives.
say that about Ulster. No,
No,
Sorry.
I didn't say
Bring back
that.
Hume. Anyway,
You said that. Adam lives in Merseyside and was not there for Seamus Coleman's last game last weekend.
Yeah, and he's also a
fun.
proud Ulster man as well. But I don't think anyone else, like judging by the videos, I don't think anyone was there for James
Yeah, I was
Coleman's
gonna
last-
say. It was embarrassing. So maybe it's not a weekend for fond farewells for the likes of Werner Cocker, Kieran Frawley. But
Or
we will
maybe
know
it's
all about that next
another,
week.
another good weekend for a McElroy.
You ruined it. Good. He's not even playing this weekend.
Hey,
not
he's on
playing.
the bench.
Yeah, Ethan.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about Ethan McRae. Right,
Sorry.
gentlemen, we'll leave it at that. It's been
We're
absolutely
not a
chaotic.
sub-child.
We've been basically going for 2 hours now. It's been a
It's a marathon, not a
intense.
sprint, my
And I've
friends.
been the butt of the jokes for the first 50 minutes, so it's my time for payback.
It's
Everyone
the
at
butts
home.
on the seats that you like in hotels.
What the fuck? Good luck. Bye bye. Bye bye.